Okay, time to learn the Fill from Example tool in the Excel Data Mining Add-in Analyze tab suite of tools. So what I want you to do is, with the same data file we've been working with the whole time, put your cursor somewhere inside the Table Analysis Tools sample. Actually, excuse me, we're going to click a different tab. Click on Fill from Example. What we have here is the same data as in the Table Analysis Tool sample, except with this column added over here, High Value Customer. So how would we come up with this yes, no data? Well, the manager of the store maybe knows these people and can give some sort of subjective judgment and say, yes, I know these are high and low value customers. There could be any number of ways that you would come up with this data. The problem is, though, we don't have it filled out for everyone. And what we want to be able to do is train a model that knows how to predict high value customer, whether yes or no, based on all this other information. And then we apply that same model that's been trained to make predictions for the rest of these blank cells. Now, in practice, we typically would not do this based on only having whatever this is, about 10 roughly cells that we have data for. Typically we'd want to have at least 50% of the table filled in already, and then we're making the rest of the predictions based on that 50%. And actually 70% is more preferred. However, we still have enough data to go with. So here's how the tool works. With your cursor somewhere in this table, click on Fill from Example, and notice how it automatically recognizes the only column we have with missing values is High Value Customer. So it's pre-selected that one, although we could change it. And if you do, well, let me just continue with this one first. Next, let's choose our columns for the analysis and just make sure that ID is not selected. As usual, it doesn't give us any predictive power, but everything else should be. We hit OK. Let's run the analysis, and it's going to append a new column over here to the right of High Value Customer with the predictions. So it's not going to overwrite anything. It also gives us this nice High Value Customer Patterns built-in worksheet that does basically a key influencers analysis for us as well. So we can see what the chief or what the primary column value pairs were to come up with the prediction. So if we click back here on Fill from Example and scroll over, notice we now have High Value Customer _ extended. Now, this won't even be perfect all the time at predicting. Notice it says here's what we would predict based on these values. It's possible that it'll sometimes get these predictions wrong. Again, it's not just copying these values over, it's training a model and trying to decide what are the column value pairs and what's the relative weight of each of those pairs. And then we can just simply plug in the values for each of these columns, for each of the cells that are missing, including the ones that have data, and we see what the model would predict, and then it puts it over here. So this is a much better way to handle missing data than the old alternatives of simply using an average to fill in the blank or leaving it blank. There are some algorithms that can't handle missing data at all. So if you wanted to include this column in some analysis and have missing data, that limits you to which algorithms you can use to make predictions from. So that's why we use, one of the reasons why we use this tool to Fill from Example. It seemed like there was something else I want to mention about it, but now I can't remember. So this is good for now. Notice though, I don't have, if you did the clustering or the detect categories video before this one, notice we don't have that categories column anymore, and we didn't have it over here, so that wasn't included in our analysis. Anyway, that's all for Fill from Example.